I've constantly been looking at the heat signature of your tits for like at least a year. Now I can finally see them with my own eyes, and they're beautiful.
Chris is busy twerking over there, so we gotta wait.
This is Trek TV. Rahoyeski, you listen to me.
Shut up!
This is Twerks TV.
Let's twerk ourselves into action on the newest episode of Trek TV, the podcast where we watch every single Star Trek episode and movie in order and talk about them on the internet.
And then twerk simultaneously.
We twerk our asses off. My name is Vaughn. With me today is the rare and powerful Chris.
Hi.
And the even more rare and powerfully elusive Derek, the one without the screaming child.
Hi.
Yeah.
Also with us today is Tracy, the rare and powerful, beautifully screaming, angry Tracy. How you doing?
And how can you already be drunk? It's like 11 a.m.
I'm not drunk.
Manu Interime's ghost is watching us too.
Very good. Alright, so today on Trek TV we'll be discussing Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 10, Hide and Q. This story was by C.J. Holland and directed by Cliff Boyle. Or Boyle?
Bowl, I think. Bowl.
And the teleplay was by Holland and Gene Roddenberry. None other than Gene Roddenberry.
I'm going to make a quick confession here.
Yep.
As soon as you mentioned this season, I just went through and watched them all. So I've only got one-liners like Season 108. Worf's Klingon dick would break these women in half. That's about as much detail as I got per episode.
Okay, that's the one with the camel toes.
That's this one.
There's a few
yeah.
camel toes in this one. Well, one
Is
at
there?
least.
No,
There's
but
one.
the one that I wanted Chris on, with the male
The
camel
male
toe.
camel toes, though.
Oh my. That's actually called a moose knuckle.
Welcome to Moose Knuckle Island.
It is not.
It is. Google it. I didn't.
No, I'm not Googling it.
My Google will never touch that word.
Okay, we'll go. What do we need to do about this?
We need to keep on topic. Q's giant dingle-dongus.
Sure. Okay, so this episode opens with the Enterprise heading towards Sigma 3, where there's been a horrible mining accident, and apparently around 500 casualties have currently been...
That sounds really minor.
Yeah, that's not so bad on a galaxy scale, on a galactic scale.
Yeah. It's not
Like, how
worth
many-
the deuterium to get there.
Yeah. Isn't there more people on the Enterprise than that?
There's like 1,000
Yeah, there's
people in the
twice that
Enterprise.
many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would they even bother?
So-
Fuck that. Forget them.
I don't know. So yeah, the Enterprise headed there. I think it's meant to take them around 3 hours to get there altogether. Just in mid route, Q puts one of those big nets up, like we see at Farpoint in the Farpoint episode.
He loves his fucking nets.
Yes, he does.
I'm Q the fisherman.
And
Maybe he's just really proud of them.
They appear to be solid. So.
Teach a Q to fish, you'll have problems for the rest of eternity.
So then on the bridge, we have the floating head of a 3-eared bunny. I don't know if you guys noticed that. That's what it looked like.
I think there's a fuck ton of snakes stuck to one point.
I think there were supposed to be snakes. Okay, so
Right,
okay.
he does say serpent, doesn't he?
Yeah, rewind a half second. Did you guys watch the new Next Level HD one or the original?
Nah, original.
So I watched the HD one, and it is definitely snakes.
Oh.
It is.
Are
cobras.
they sort of translucent?
A little bit. They kind of got penises for faces.
Mm-hmm.
which is obvious with most snakes.
That sounds like a space snake to me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a space snake. But there's 3 of them coming out of some kind of glowing orb. So,
Okay.
anyways,
So this is alluding
Okay.
to the fact that Q likes to fuck around with all the species, not just humans.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess, and it's saying like he doesn't actually look like Q. He can take any form. I
Yeah.
guess.
Well, Q
Well, he
doesn't
was-
have a form.
Supposedly, representing some kind of, deep space kind of alien, and all it is a glowing orb with 3 snake heads coming out of it. So, that's how imaginative they were back then.
I like to think
Yeah.
they wrote the whole season as Q just being a giant human penis to annoy everybody, or maybe even Kirk's penis specifically. Then they realized, oh, this is television.
Yeah, this needs to be family friendly.
Okay. So, right, the glowing orb with the 3 bunny ears turns into Q, the Q that we're familiar with, which is the John Delancey form. And he says he's impressed with humans and he wants to give them essentially everything they want. He wants them to realize their blah 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 dreams. Does anyone want to comment on that?
I like how
things.
Worf jumps over the railing to point his phaser at Q, even though he knows damn well that there's no way that jumping over the railing was necessary, and you can't do anything with Q.
The worst part is it's like a half a foot up the railing. He would have been quicker to take the 2 steps and walk around the goddamn thing, but he decides
He
to
could have just
jump over
pointed.
it. That was
Yeah, he could have just pointed the phaser from where he was standing. That
Yeah,
would've
and-
been-
I don't think
been just
phasers
as
have any
effective.
more effects.
The Klingon's spine isn't comfortable unless he's jarring it abruptly every 12 minutes.
Yeah, so I was actually talking with Jared when I watched that initially, and that was the first thing out of my mouth. And it's like, what the fuck is Worf doing? Like, why would you even bother jumping over that goddamn thing? Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
He
we
learned his
should
lesson
ask.
later
3
on the Borg
points of
attack, and he just lays there.
fuck. We can't know that, though. We haven't seen all of them. We can't know that.
That's true. Spoiler alert, the entire Federation gets spoiled by Borg soon.
Spoiled. Okay, so right, Picard, after that, Picard and Q have their little back and forth like they usually do, where Q says, oh, human this, human that, and Picard says, oh, we're not so bad. And then Q says, hey, Riker, I think you're probably more interested in my offer than anyone else based on what I saw previously, but he's kind of still being elusive about what he really wants to do.
Well,
And then said, oh, sorry?
well, I was going to say, we were all hoping the same thing, right? That Q was just going to get a fucking beard under Riker and we were going to be done with this whole episode.
Dwarf beard engage!
So instead of doing what Derek hoped, Q takes Data, Geordi, Riker, Worf, and Yar to some random planet. We don't even know if it's an actual planet.
It's
as
a
they
cave
point out.
planet, and I'm beginning to
cavey.
suspect Gene Roddenberry loved cave planets.
Don't we all? And then all of the crew are apparently... And then we go back to the ship quickly where we see Picard all alone. There's no one else on the ship. He can't call any other section of the ship. The bridge is empty and he can't leave it. He can't do anything. He's just sitting on an empty bridge with nothing.
Well,
And this
the
all...
reason-
Sorry?
the reason that all this cave is happening is because Star Trek pioneered cave technology. Cave screen technology, and now they're just showing it off.
That's true.
Yeah. You gotta use it if you got it.
They've patented it.
Right, so then we go down to this planet where Riker... Actually, I missed a step, kind of. On the bridge, Riker says something along the lines of, what is this, a game to you? And that piques Q's interest, and he's like, yes, let's play a game. So he takes them to this planet. They're sitting there, and he tells Riker, I want to play this game. Riker sits down, and he gives him an old-fashioned lemonade, to which Vaughn said, what's a new-fashioned lemonade? And I think a new-fashioned lemonade probably has vodka in it.
I guess so. I
agree.
An old-fashioned lemonade was like a lemonade back in the day, and now they don't have it anymore.
It's just lemons, so it's horrible.
Yeah, you squeeze it into a cup and you sour your face up.
Yes. That's right. And he also zaps some drinks into everyone else's hands, which I think most of them enjoy, except for Worf.
Worf pours his out.
Yeah,
Worf
what
has to be a
exactly... Yeah, what exactly was Data's? It kind of looked like motor oil.
Did it?
I was looking at it very carefully, and I think Data's was just the same as everyone else's.
Yeah.
But I just assumed it would be motor oil. So I thought it was.
For obvious reasons.
Q made you think that, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so then Q wants to play a game set in apparently Napoleonic times, says he's dressed like a Napoleonic soldier or officer, and all of these other things are, and he's got a little backdrop or whatever. Which I don't think they had plastic shower rings in Napoleonic times, but, you know, they give them some artistic license in their creation. Right, so then Q starts explaining the game, and he says, we can't have a game based on strength because that would be a ridiculous competition where you would have no chance. We also can't do it based on intelligence. Again, that would be a ridiculous competition where you would have no chance. So at 11 minutes, he explains the game, and here's a quote.
Well, as you said, I'm nothing if not imaginative. And the game should reflect that. Shall it be a test of strength? Meaningless, since you have none. A test of intelligence, then? Equally as meaningless. But it needs risk. Something to win. And something to lose.
If we must play a game, what would we win?
The greatest possible future that you could imagine. Which, of course, requires something totally disastrous if you're to lose. Now, the point of this game shall be, can any of you stay alive?
Yeah, so the game is, can anyone stay alive under whatever circumstances Q decides to bring up. It's at
pretty
this
lame.
point...
It's a pretty lame fucking game for an all-powerful being.
Uh-oh, Jared's here. Everyone scatter.
It sounds like the post-art drinks never happened.
Nope.
Good day, Jared.
Oh, really?
Hello.
How's the arts?
The art's awesome. I'll have to send you some pictures of the arts. There's some good
Yeah,
arts.
that'd be great.
Please do, and I'll have one art, please. I love rich guy stuff.
Give me an art and a side order of a culture.
Q will just fuck up your art.
Did anyone talk? My art's fucked. Did anyone talk about what the fuck this title is supposed to even mean?
No, not yet. Not yet. We can talk about that in the general discussion at the end.
Fair enough.
We're going to try to stay on track here for at least the first 15 minutes. Okay.
Fuck that. It's already gone.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Welcome
After
to Horseshit TV.
We just had Jared join us. Okay, so, yeah. Next we've got Tasha speak up and... Because Q says something about this is going to be unfair. And Tasha's like,
Yeah, she freaks out just because he says it's going to be unfair.
yeah. So he zaps her into the penalty box and explains that if anyone else, so she's occupying the penalty box, if anyone else goes to the penalty box, then she just goes into non-existence. Then we go back to the ship where Tasha's been put, and we have this really weird moment where
the worst
Picard
scene.
comforts her, where she's crying, and it's just not very pleasant.
I don't even know how this made it to shooting, much less like that someone wrote it.
This is a precursor to her entire career.
Guys, when one occupies the penalty box, one is allowed to cry.
Yeah.
Right.
What in the hell am I doing? Crying?
Don't worry. There is a new ship standing order on the bridge. When one is in the penalty box, tears are permitted.
Captain. Oh, if you weren't a captain.
Oh,
And that
God
was
damn.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Oh.
Is that a product of the situation, or is that like, does that situation exist for that line? Right? Like,
I don't know, but
I don't know.
they like? Do they show her crying specifically to show her crying, or do they show her crying specifically to put that line in there?
I don't understand why it exists at all. It's terrible.
Well, we
I
know
can
that
say-
Tashiyar's afraid of rape gangs, right? And when she loses control of her scenarios, she remembers the rape gangs, and then we have
Unlike
some tears.
most of us who are
I'm
completely
fairly certain.
completely blasé about rape gangs.
Yeah.
I've erased all my home videos of rape gangs.
Okay, so Jared, what were you saying?
What was I saying? About which part?
I don't know. Okay, Derek, do you want to finish that? Everyone got stepped on there for a minute and we couldn't hear anything.
Okay, I'm gonna step on everybody then. I'm fairly confident that if I was put in the situation where I could vanish Yar from existence, I would not hesitate. She'd be the fuck gone.
Derek.
Come on now, she's not Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I would have
Not
less
yet.
of a problem vanishing Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I think the Teenage Wish.
I mean, to be fair,
The character of Yara is so. It seems so non-Starfleet to me. She's so angry and she's so quick to jump to conclusions that she doesn't fit in the universe. And
I see what you're saying.
It's not.
She
it's
rubbed
not
tightening cream on that vagina for years to get into Starfleet.
Jesus. I like that you could back up your claims.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fair enough.
he's got a point.
Yeah,
It's just,
but there
she
are
drives
other
me.
characters.
She drives me nuts in this first season. That and the lack of beard on Riker. You're gonna hear from me every fucking episode.
If Tasha had a beard, would you be more interested?
Derek's teenage wish is to get a beard onto Riker and to get Tasha away.
Yeah, perhaps. No, there's other characters like that, though, because we've got Ensign Ro that comes up later.
Oh, Ro is just
kinda
as bad.
similar.
Yeah.
But Tasha's character that's not Denise Crosby's fault by any means.
No.
It's the writing in the first
It's
season.
the writing. And the writing.
I don't mind her character as much as you do. I don't think she's a horrible character in the show. I don't think she got the best part. I think writing for her kind of failed her. And
It doesn't-
that's not,
Yeah,
She
it
rarely
doesn't.
seems. Yeah.
Go ahead, Jared.
She rarely seems to exhibit any kind of real abilities that would, or she rarely is given the chance to exhibit abilities that would indicate why the hell she's security chief. Even in this one, Worf is the first one to jump to the ready when Q shows up on the bridge. She's kind of slow on it.
I noticed that too.
Rape gang experience shines on her resume.
he's already bucking for that promotion. But,
Yeah.
I think
But,
we
yeah,
have
no,
to
it's
make the
just-
distinction here, guys, that the actor isn't the character either. If we hate Tasha Yar, it doesn't mean
I
we
don't
want to
hate
punch
Tasha Yar.
what's her name in the face. What is her name?
No.
Denise Crosby.
Yeah, we don't want to choke Denise Crosby.
no.
No.
Tasha Yar.
No.
That being
No,
said,
it's
she
abs-
does...
it's absolutely
no.
the character.
Sexually, ooh.
And she is
I don't
hot.
mind.
There is naked pictures of her on the internet.
She's
I'll
hot.
say it again.
Oh, really?
Real hot.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
Chris.
I think
I'll be back
Chris
in
will
10
be in
minutes.
his bunk.
I'll be
It's
in my
see
boat.
you guys. I'm out of here.
Welcome to Jerk TV.
Go away, Baton.
to be fair, as we've mentioned on Jerk TV before, in between furious jerkings, she's the character that didn't get it. If you judged, say, Riker from this early stuff, especially this
We
episode,
did judge
you'd
him
think
until
he
he's got a beard. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. She was never given a chance to ever grow beyond what you see in this season. So
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's
fair
a
enough.
lot harder to judge.
the biggest problem. We're getting way off topic here.
Yeah, we're
All
getting
that
stuck
stuff.
here.
Okay, so the biggest problem is okay, yeah. So she, if you look at her backstory or whatever you want to call it, and up until this point, there is no way with the temper she has and how she flies off the handle that she would ever be put in charge of security of a starship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I see her, and that's how I always see her.
But we see Worf flying off the handle all the time, and
Yeah,
he gets
Worf
put in charge.
flies.
She's Worf's superior at this point, isn't she?
Yeah. And, well, they're in different departments. But Worf always has that thing with the Klingon bullshit going on, too, that is constantly interfering with his role in Starfleet.
Klingon rape
So
gangs would be terrifying.
he's got the temper thing, he's got that, and he also just does whatever the fuck he wants every once in a while.
Yeah.
So he's almost equally as horrible. But that being
Yeah, but
said,
he
he can smash your skull pretty quick.
Yeah, and also he gets shut down for everything else, so you can kind of understand more of his.
Yeah.
Every time he
But-
makes a suggestion, he's told no.
He's perfect
So-
for his job.
Yeah.
We don't want a bunch of middle management white guys doing security work.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's move on.
Okay. Yep.
So next we've got some more Q and Picard back and forth. where Q explains the whole plot basically at 15 minutes, and we'll put that quote on.
Okay, let's hope it doesn't just fucking fail this time.
Well,
We give this a crack here, guys.
A Marshal of France.
Ridiculous. Well, one takes the jobs he can get. For example, Starlog entry. Stardate today. This is Q, speaking for Captain Jean-Luc Picard, who we consider to be too bound by Starfleet customs and traditions to be useful to us. The Enterprise is now helpless, stuck like an Earth insect in amber, while its bridge crew plays out a game whose real intent is to test whether the first officer is worthy of the greatest gift the Q can offer.
there you have it. Riker's being tested to see if he's worthy of the greatest gift ever offered.
He's not.
This quote also brings up. Did you find this episode quite funny? Not as in like funny, genuinely funny. There was some good little one-liners in this episode, I thought.
Oh yeah, like Q. The interaction between Q and Picard is always hilarious.
Yeah,
they're clearly both. They just jump out as amazing actors, and then when they get together, it builds. Something.
Picard has no time for any of his shit, and he's always just barely tolerating him. But there's nothing else he can do but just put his head down and hope he'll fuck off before anything gets too stupid.
I just love it though. He's like a fucking old French uniform, ridiculous. He's just so disgusted.
And he knows that he has no reason to like. It's not like he needs to sweet talk, and he's not going to bother trying to sweet talk Q. He's just going to be a fucking asshole to him like he deserves. Q will be an asshole right back.
That he can get away with it.
Okay, so we go back to the planet now where Geordi is giving a play-by-play of Worf, like scampering through the rocks.
He's at the third crest. What the?
And he's spying on the oncoming army of French monsters.
So the third crest line made me kind of laugh, and that might be one of the one-liners. But I'm not sure. Like, is he surprised that he's as far as the third crest, or is he surprised that he's only at the third crest? You never really know.
What is the third crest, and how do they know that it's significant at this point anyway? It's like they're playing Monopoly, and this guy's already made it around the board twice.
Space tactics.
No, he's just gotten to that distance and he's reporting it.
And he's moving at a good clip.
I think Data's shocked that he's gone that far so fast, but that's just my guess.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's shocked at why he would just go off by himself into an army of enemies.
And everyone else just stands there with their arms crossed. Okay, so back on the ship again. Q and Picard go back and forth. Picard says something like, "Why the games?"
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, because they tell you more about humans than just, whatever. Then Picard quotes gives the Hamlet quote about humans being likened to gods, except for in a serious way, rather than how it was originally meant in play.
Ironic.
And then Q gets fucking angry about that. He's like, humans are nothing like gods. Don't ever make that comparison type thing. And then he just disappears. Then we go back to the planet again. Oh, does anyone want to comment on that?
Just that this scene clearly existed just so Picard could fucking quote some Shakespeare again. Or I don't know if is this the first time he's done it on the series? It might be.
I don't think so.
I chose to leave the quote of him doing Shakespeare out because I don't believe it had a place.
Nope.
Well, it does actually. It does in the terms of a show, like in the whole plot. That's what the whole plot is about: is making a human into a god.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
Is this entire episode based around that single quote? Like the entire
Pretty
premise
much.
of this episode is that quote, but built around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Picard probably didn't even have to Patrick Stewart probably didn't even have to memorize his lines for that scene.
Oh, he probably knew
He
it.
already knew that shit.
Okay, so then back on the planet, the soldiers are approaching the away team. They're not really an away team. The crew, I guess, very quickly. And at that moment, Q goes down and becomes Data. That freaked me out.
Oh yeah.
And then
they're like, talking to Data, could you figure this out? And he's like, oh Jesus, you're Q.
Yeah.
Oh no! Before he becomes Data, Worf comes when Riker tests his phaser. Worf comes jumping in.
So apparently the third crest was only 4 steps away because Worf was there in a fucking hurry.
I don't know what he was looking at. Wait, so he comes charging in and he yells, "Drop your weapon!" But he's clearly looking at nothing, because he's not looking at them.
Yeah, I found it odd that he jumped directly into the potential line of fire and didn't even know where it was coming from.
I think he looked at the rock that the weapon hit, and he was commanding it to drop its weapon. And the thing is, he was 5 feet away from his own team, and clearly it was just them fucking around. So.
Yeah, and should have known what the fuck was going on there. Probably.
Yeah.
Clearly a candidate for the chief of security on a Star Trek.
Yep. So they're also they're already figuring out that the other guys have muskets and they're forming a skirmish line. So they figure Data gives a description of how muskets work in case these people are dumb, and then they test out whether the phasers still work, which was what gets everything going. But
and they think they have a massive advantage because these old muskets can't even shoot straight, probably, and their phasers work just fine.
Then Worf goes on to explain that the guys are just like animals or something.
Animal things, and they look just like Worf.
They're somehow uglier than Ferengis, though.
Like
they're no more disgusting than Worf or Ferengis, to be honest.
What kind of alien? Like, they're walking around in suits and marching and stuff.
Yeah.
How does he decide that they're animal things?
Yeah,
and
that's a bit weird.
The worst part is that they describe them
space racists.
In that manner more than once. Like, don't they get back to the bridge and say that as well, where there's some kind of animals? And it's like, well, if there were some kind of animals.
Data won't even describe them to Picard because he thinks Picard would lose his lunch.
Yeah.
How disgusting these things
Worf wouldn't even make
he
one.
refuses. Well, he tried, but... Okay, so, then Q gives Riker the power of the Q and tells him to use it to save his crew and get them back to the ship, which he does after... who dies first? Worf dies, and then Wesley goes to help him, and then he gets...
This doesn't happen for me.
Oh, whoops, sorry, I jumped ahead. Sorry. So, and then we're back on the bridge where Tasha says their course never changed. Q must have stopped time somehow. And then the crew minus Riker come back to the bridge, and they begin to proceed with the initial plot, the initial thing that was happening on the Enterprise, which is they were going to that planet. So
refresh me on how Riker does the queuing. Does he do the double finger fuck to the sky, or what does he do as an action?
I think he just waves his arm in an overarching way.
He does it different each time. Like when he just puts his hand up, kind of when he does it the first time, I think.
Yeah, he just kind of holds his palm out. Oh no, just hand up, not even palm out. Just like he just raises his hand and tries it. That's right after Geordi pulls some sweet ass evasive maneuvers to avoid those musket lasers.
Yeah, there's a lot of jumping and rolling.
That's the worst thing to do when you're trying to avoid laser blasts, is to do a stupid fucking roll that's going to leave you completely disoriented and stuck on the ground.
I'm pretty sure LeVar Burton was hired because of that roll. It's like, hey, buddy, you need to be able to roll, and no one else could do it, and he did it perfectly.
You need to roll and still keep that stupid thing on your face. Can you do it? Your face is just the right size to.
Well, no, he was actually hired as Dr. Crusher, but because he could roll and keep that thing on his face, they upgraded him.
You're not chief engineer.
Okay.
They upgraded him from Wesley's mother to Jordan.
They couldn't find enough bulkheads in sickbay for him to roll, or good excuses for him to roll under bulkheads in sickbay. So they had to move him to engineering.
Yeah. Actually,
this might be the first glimmer of an idea that he should be the chief engineer because of this sweet role, and there are closing bulkheads all the time in engineering.
Yeah.
That seems right.
Plus, he can read rainbows.
Okay. So, he can read rainbows. So then we go to Riker on the planet where he's cackling like a loony up against a rock. And then Q and Riker have a talk where Riker says, what do you want from me, from humans? And Q says, well, we offer you a great gift. The Q explain what they've offered at 2530, and there's a quote. Just a sec.
Q for investment.
We saw you as savages only. We discovered instead that you are unusual creatures in your own limited ways. Ways which in time will not be so limited.
We're growing. Something about us compels us to learn, explore.
Yes, the human compulsion. And unfortunately for us, it is a power which will grow stronger century after century, eon after eon.
Eons. Have you any idea how far we'll advance?
Perhaps in a future that you cannot yet conceive, even beyond us.
Okay, so sorry I kind of misrepresented that quote. He's saying why they're interested in humans rather than what they've offered. So they're interested in humans because they have this capacity, or we, I guess, have this capacity to learn and the desire for exploration and bettering themselves, I guess, essentially. And that what the Q want is to bring that human hunger for those things into the continuum.
Yeah, it's like Facebook hiring Google's engineers. They're clearly successful. Facebook needs some pizzazz, and so
that's the worst analogy I've ever heard.
Exactly.
Precisely the same thing. So I gotta say, this might be the first semblance of like a decent Star Trek episode ever.
Oh,
right? Like,
come on.
We're bordering on what I think is a decent Star Trek episode.
It's got it's definitely got the standard humans are unique and special thing, which you'd expect any intellectual species that got into space would kind of have this same. It shouldn't be this unusual that you're curious about shit.
No, but it's not even so much that, but the kind of like foreshadowing that, you know, the human race is going to exist for eons and eons and this kind of stuff. Because like the Q knows. They have to know, don't they? They're all knowing.
Yeah, the Q are supposed to be
they said,
timeless.
Well, they did. He did just suggest that there was a point even they couldn't see past or see that far.
I suppose
that's what was just said there. He said that at a certain point, it's beyond our knowing.
Yeah, the Q don't know as much as they claim to, I think. But I mean the really set far ass in the future kind of thing, as opposed to, you know, being on a pirate ship in space.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
You know, like there is a definite break there. Like at one point, TNG goes from, you know, the original Star Trek to TNG. Most people kind of see that as the second season, but you know, there are a few episodes.
Or the second ridge.
Second ridge, yeah. So somewhere between the second and third ridge, and then Geordi.
Get there?
Yeah.
Okay, to go back to what you were saying about humans not necessarily being different from other spacefaring races, we see a lot of differences, I think, over the seasons or over the series. And those being like, you see Vulcans, for example, but they don't really go very far from Vulcan ever. They aren't really explorers. They don't solely go out to explore and learn shit. We have Ferengi. Ferengi are out there for profit. We have Klingons, again, not out to explore. They're out for their own gains. We rarely run into other races or that are just out there for the same reasons as humans are. And in the scope of the show, or the Star Trek universe, we almost never see, maybe one other time in Voyager, there's a race that's genuinely like humans. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, I don't know, there's differences in the timelines of the development of each of those races, though, too, right? So if you look at the Vulcans, like, you know, it's kind of apparent that the Vulcans have been around forever, or what we perceive as forever. And possibly at some point in their development, they were like us, where they were exploring, they were, you know, half-hearted about everything, and they didn't really understand everything like they do now. And the same can be said, well, I'm sure the same can be said for any of the other races, that, you know, everybody's kind of like a single stop on the same, I don't know, the same path.
That's a big fallacy in archaeology, actually, assuming that everyone becomes civilized or uncivilized, to even use that term, in the same way. And I get what you mean. I think it's a legitimate point of view, but I disagree with it inherently, that all things, all people, all cultures evolve along the same pathway.
Yeah, not everyone's going to the second and then the third ridge.
Exactly. Some people go from the fourth ridge to the fifth ridge and never even see the first, second, and
Some
third
people just
ridges.
give up and start a rape gang right at the start.
I just don't think it's that. That's true. I just don't think it's that unreasonable to expect a few more races that are just out there for curiosity's sake, especially if they have technology that allows them to do that.
No, I get what you guys are saying, and in the framework that we've been given, like in the evidence that we've been given about other Star Trek universe races, I think that there aren't ever any other, or very few, like you say, other groups or races that are genuinely the same as humans.
Yeah, this is way too hard. I'm just going to give up and join a rape gang.
Fuck this. Rape gang for all.
So what's your son doing? He dropped out and joined a rape game. Oh,
but like what Derek was saying,
children are the future.
Like, yeah, the Q definitely think that human beings are on a similar path to what they went on. They think that humans are going, like Derek was saying, that they're just on at a different stage in their development, where like humans will eventually become something like the Q and potentially even more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Well, there are indications throughout some of the different episodes of, like, they're like humans that were of 6,000 years ago or whatever, right? Like they make those kind of parallels in different sort of races. So that's kind of what made me think, there's kind of a bigger, broader story here, and that's kind of what Q's alluding to. It's fairly early on in the development of the series and the development of the brand to actually make those kind of assumptions, but maybe that's what they were leaning towards. Whether or not that's actually right is something else, or maybe they just completely pulled it out of the rape game ass. But
maybe. And that's like a really common science fiction storyline, is that we've evolved into non-corporeal beings.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
Anyway.
paralleling human evolution into something that's larger than human.
Yes.
You realize that evolution means having sex with ghosts someday. Oh, yeah.
Horse and ghost marriage. Okay, let's move
And
along
bananas.
here. We're very stuck. Although I think we're moving along quite well. Okay, so next we've got Riker, who says, I don't like you to Q, therefore I don't want any part of being a part of the Q continuum, because that would mean being a part of you, which Q doesn't take very kindly. And then the entire crew gets beamed back down to the planet, including Picard and Wesley. This is where Wesley becomes penetrated. So the army is attacking, Worf gets stabbed, Wesley goes to weep over his disgusting corpse. He gets stabbed in the back.
Wesley, you're a boy genius, but you ain't too fucking bright, are you, kid?
Yeah. But Wesley turns up in the fucking Reading Rainbow, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Wesley's iconic rainbow shirt. This is the first appearance of that thing, I reckon.
Is it? Yeah, okay, good.
No, it's been in the first... It was in the
Okay.
first episode or two, I
This is
think.
the first time that I really opened my eyes to the rainbow shirt, and I think it's because Wesley and that other man both wear the same shirt, and it's just seared.
Yeah, the old man.
But we'll get to that.
The Reading Rainbow. Ah, fuck, that's
Once
a weird
again,
shirt.
They did that so LeVar Burton would feel more comfortable on set.
Yeah. They had to transition him in there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess... Then Worf jumps in right away. Again, Yar doesn't really do much. She kind of just stands there and lets Wesley run in and get stabbed in the back.
Well, she's just protecting the captain, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Perhaps she's doing the smart thing.
She's the only one doing her fucking job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not getting stabbed. Okay, so then...
Why is Are Wesley and Worf supposed to be good buds? Why is he so...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone on the ship is like Wesley's daddy.
I guess so.
Who is Wesley's daddy? Do we know?
Issues are just too many guys on this fucking
Picard's
boat.
old buddy. He's Picard's old buddy. He got killed.
Picard sent him to his death.
Yeah.
Yep.
Picard killed him. Yeah.
Oh, good God. That's not
Which
a
is
good thing,
kind of-
is it?
No. Well, I think we've talked about this before, and Vaughn put forth the idea that Picard wanted to bang Crusher, so he had to kill the dad, and now he's also trying to kill Wesley to get rid of the cub.
No, Derek with the screaming
Derek?
baby. That's his.
Oh,
idea.
that was Derek Grafer's idea. Yeah.
Don't disagree.
Derek with the screaming baby.
You don't get to see Picard when Wesley gets stabbed, but maybe if you did, he's got a little hint of a smile on his lips.
He looks just like the Grinch.
Yeah.
I have to say that this is pretty graphic, and
Yeah, it was.
this is a step forward for the next generation.
Yeah, there's another bit of graphic thing coming up.
So you see the blood coming on the bayonet that's on the other side. Like, Wesley's looking down at this bloody bayonet sticking out of his own chest.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Okay, so next, Riker uses his Q power and erects a force field in front of the oncoming soldiers and beams everyone back to the ship. He brings Worf and Wesley back to life, and they are all standing on the bridge. And then Picard starts getting pissed. He's like, what the fuck happened? Only Q can do shit like that. And Riker's standing there with his arms crossed, with his legs a mile apart, all proud of himself. Did anyone else notice that?
Oh, yeah.
I noticed that Riker just becomes a total fucking asshole for the rest of this episode.
Yeah,
God
he
damn.
was a giant prick. Power.
I got the power.
Okay, so then Picard and Riker have a meeting, and Picard says, you gotta not use this power. It's too much power for a human. Are you capable of not using it? And Riker says, yes, we've got a quote there, 2940.
If you're going to refuse his offer, you must not allow yourself to use this power again. It's too great a temptation for us at our present stage of development.
Are you worried that I won't be able to say no to it?
You tell me. Are you strong enough to refuse to use that power?
Certainly.
No matter how tempted, no matter how difficult Q makes it for you.
You have my word.
Okay, so after that, the crew of the Enterprise arrives at the planet where the mining disaster occurred, and the away team beam down to a bunch of busted people and a busted down something. Geordi sees a pile of crushed rocks, and this is that other graphic that I was talking about. Data unearths a tiny dead girl.
Okay, so before we move
which
on...
Riker cradles in his arms.
Hold on. Before we move any further, though, I have to say, like, this is I believe the first appearance of crazy data strength. He's just throw these boulders behind him like they're made of styrofoam, which they are.
Which they actually are. Well known fact, they actually are made.
To be fair.
Yeah, that's a really good toss. That's a really good toss. I'm glad you brought that to my attention, because that first rock he throws is real good.
He really gets a hold
in the
of that one.
direction of the other busted people.
Yeah, and no one else bothers trying to help because Data's got it all under control. It's like, okay, Data, you're doing well. Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay, so unearth the girl's corpse.
Yeah, somebody's cradling this dead girl.
Crusher is.
Is it Crusher? Okay.
Yeah.
And someone says, oh, Riker, do something. And Crusher's like, well, certainly you can't revive her. And Riker's like, I can, but I can't. Because I promised that fucking Picard prick that I wouldn't do that. And then he's angry.
That's a direct quote, actually.
Yeah. So he says that he shouldn't have to listen. He goes onto the bridge, and Picard stands up in front of his captain's chair, and Picard is pissed. And Riker comes off the turbo lift, and he's like, I shouldn't have listened to you, Picard. I want a meeting. And Picard's like, sure, I'll call a meeting. And they're having this little power struggle thing right now. And Picard's like, I'll call a meeting of all the bridge staff. And as he's mid-sentence, Riker turns around and gets back on the turbo lift.
So
pretty catty.
Yeah. So there's some point in there where Picard actually says, oh, when did we start calling each other by first name?
Oh, that's coming up.
Oh, is that coming up? I thought that was part of that interchange.
That's during the meeting on the bridge.
Okay. But I mean,
at this point, I've made my decision.
Though.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Dad?
Yeah, I was just going to say, throughout all of it, though, Riker's been calling him by his first name.
Jean-Luc.
He's been a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
a total dick. The lie detector test said Riker's been a total dick.
Right off the bat. And I guess Picard suggests that maybe Q is poisoning his mind somehow or something.
Oh, yeah.
But But still, there's no excuse for Riker to be such an asshole like this.
No, especially so fast.
Power corrupts.
Yeah.
They say power corrupts absolutely.
Absolute
whatever.
power corrupts, absolutely. But that, like, you would think would take more than 6 minutes to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And
He's
he's
not
so
even wearing a beard, so like, how can he be that confident?
Yeah, he's so angry that he doesn't have a beard, but also he's so angry that he made this promise. He can't even see how it's reasonable.
Yeah,
But yet he could have just forgot the promise and just. But he just gets really angry that he had to make it, and he gets really angry at Picard for no reason.
Yeah, so we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but the whole thing with him making that promise, and if Q doesn't, give a shit about time, does it really matter when he made that promise and when he decided to break that promise? Right? He could go back from when he's, doing favors for everybody and go back and fix that shit, but he doesn't. I don't know why he doesn't, but he doesn't.
He's not even, like, he's clearly not thinking straight, and I don't think he's familiar with his powers well enough. Yeah. Like, he hasn't even bothered to create a beard on his own face at this point. So going back in time is beside the...
Yeah. Lord knows he's not thinking straight if he hasn't fucking put a beard on that face yet.
But I want to say here, at this point, I made my decision. Like, I would have never promised Picard that shit. I would have been, yep, give me the godlike powers, I'm out of here.
Yeah. Okay, so then we go to the staff meeting with the bridge crew, including Wesley. And Riker is trying to explain what the Q thinks of humanity, that, we actually like you guys, blah, blah, blah. And Picard says, Q's a shitbag. Don't listen to him. And then Q tells Riker, to give, Q says, look, Riker, give all your friends a gift. And so Riker asks Picard if he can, and Picard's like, yes, please do that. And Data gets all sketched out about it. Then Crusher gets up and tries to rush Wesley off the bridge, and we have a quote at 38:30.
No, Wesley I may know best of all. Our friendship, our long talks.
No, please.
Have your favorite wish, my young friend. You're 10 years older. A man.
Bam! Exercise rainbow shirt.
I've taken 10 years off your life. Here you go.
Hey, Wes. Not bad.
Oh, God.
Wes, I'd rub a beard all over your face.
Now, Wesley... Sorry. Yeah.
Wes, you're now the age of consent. Not bad.
Riker's happy about this. No, there's a point in there where Q actually says something along the lines like, you're of God status, but you're still asking your captain for permission. And I thought that was a really, it was a really influential line in the whole part of it, right? Just around like how Riker's kind of struggling with this. Well, I know I need to serve Q, and I know I need to serve Picard.
See, I take that differently. I take that as meaning, Picard, I'm going to show you you're wrong about thinking this way about me by giving all of these people that we both love everything they've ever wanted.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely the other aspect of it. But he actually asked Picard for permission to do it.
Yeah, I think that's why he asks him for permission.
There's a point here where he wants to just be in his own role, yet a god. Like he just gonna be like, look, I'm my own self. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just a god now. I'm still number one.
Not a big deal.
It's all good. Yeah, exactly.
Not a big deal.
And Q's like, well, now we're going, so give them a parting gift. And he's like, yeah.
Well, yeah,
here's
and
a big pile of horse shit.
Yeah, he takes 10 years off Wesley's life. Although which that's not ideal.
I never thought that was a good gift.
Also, neither have I. Also, he's turned Wesley physically into a man. However, he still has the voice of a barely pubescent boy, and he's got the development. He's put him 10 years behind.
Yeah, and he looks nothing like Will Wheaton of 10 years. 10 years present, or whatever.
Nope.
Although,
Not
as
one
somebody
bit.
points out, he's looking good.
Looking good, Wes.
It's it's not like Wesley was like 5 years old at this point, and you could already tell what he was kind of going to look like in a few years.
Yeah,
They didn't even try.
it wasn't that. It definitely wasn't that.
Well,
Like
Riker
I
took
think-
some artistic license with that one.
Wesley, you're gonna look like a big dumb shit.
Yeah, he does look like a big oaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He also Riker gives him the real crazy eyes when he does it too.
Yeah, he
That's how he
does.
transforms. Just like opens his eyes super wide and
I'm
it's
interested.
really uncomfortable.
I'm interested in the fact that Wesley just looks at his palms after.
I've got big oaf palms.
Look at these big old
Like-
jerkin mitts.
Yeah. Imagine the damage those could do downstairs.
Oh God!
I'm just
Why did he open his pants and take a look down there?
yeah.
Wait,
did
do
off-
I still
he
have
did
my
it off
Wesley
camera.
penis?
Oh man, this is
Ooh.
what I'm loving about this is the idea that they had to make a man-sized version of that stupid fucking sweater though.
Roddenberry's grandma knitted away
that's-
for weeks.
That's that's probably the best part of the whole operation right there.
That stupid sweater. Man size. God damn it.
Okay, so then he offers Data to be a man, and Data says, this blah 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 blah. No, I need to be true to myself. So I don't want anything you have to give me. It wouldn't be real. Then he gives Geordi the gift of sight, which he immediately turns around to Tasha and says, "You're just as beautiful as I imagined."
Jordy is horny as hell in this episode.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And then he-
on his way over there, he had a good look at the Reading Rainbow shirt, though. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
I've constantly been looking at the heat signature of your tits for like at least a year. Now I can finally see them with my own eyes, and they're beautiful.
That's fine. I've seen him.
So,
So then Riker
he
says,
says-
"All right, Geordi, Tasha, I'll give you guys a spin-off called Reading Rape Gangs."
The Reading Rape Gang.
no.
I can rape anything.
Horrendous.
You rape a
I've
hoe,
al-
but she says no, it's a Reading Rape Gang.
You've been writing this whole episode, haven't you? You've been waiting for this.
The only way to protect yourself is by wearing the rainbow sweater.
Rape Gang's only weakness.
Okay, I don't know how we're supposed to move on from there, but we'll try.
Call it off. Abandon.
Yeah, shut her down. Okay, so he gives Geordi the gift of sight. He immediately ogles Tasha's boobies, and then he says, "Look, I don't need to see anymore. Shut her down. Give me my blindness back." And then he goes to Worf. And to quote Mon, he gives him a Klingon hooer.
We have a code here.
And then Geordi says at 4150,
Here's a code. Klingon Hoover is looking at Mark.
No!
Oh, Worf calls it off.
She's from a world now alien to me.
Worf, is this your idea of sex?
No, you stupid fuck. That's foreplay.
My favorite
what's wrong with Geordi in this whole scene?
My favorite part of this is he has to snap Worf out of it. Worf, is this your idea of sex? Like he's both confused and concerned.
He's not
Doesn't-
sure.
Doesn't
Yeah.
Excited
Worf
and
immediately
angry.
after say, "This is sex"?
He does.
What?
Does
This
it?
is
Let me
sex.
make sure.
Just a sec.
Is sex. But I have no place for it in my life now.
So
that
there,
is sex,
there's the
okay.
full quote.
Wow.
Oh man.
That broad is
confirms it.
huge.
So apparently, all she's gonna do.
She is 6 feet tall.
Oh yeah, that's a big bitch.
She's as tall as Worf.
That's a huge bitch.
So apparently, all you have to do to get pregnant in the Klingon Empire is try and kill the nearest woman.
I guess.
And you bite a cheek. And
That's how you get pregnant in the Klingon Empire, is trying to kill the nearest woman.
Dang.
And that's it.
I like how disappointed Q is in War for that, too.
Yeah.
No place for it. What the fuck? I'm an omnipotent super being, and even I like to get a little bit of action once in a while.
It seems a lot easier to get pregnant in the human empire. You just bang them. You don't have to kill anyone.
Okay, getting away from that part of it. Worf's objection to this hooer that just wants to sex him up is that she's Klingon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Not
too busy
that
with work.
and he's too busy with work, yeah.
No, you're
Not
Klingon.
the other big questions that should arise in someone's brain when some sex doll just appears in front of them from God.
She is garbed slightly less risque than the later Klingon women.
Yeah, really?
She's got a bunch of fishnetty stuff, but
Vaughn, not
I guess she's got more ass visible than just usual, but
yeah, she doesn't have the titty viewing window.
No,
I thought that was a bit risque for Star Trek in general. But
pretty.
Maybe I haven't been checking out Klingon women enough.
Yeah, probably.
It's a lot of side ass, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some
there's
some bottom ass.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely.
Many angles of ass are covered.
Okay, so then Wesley asks to be turned back into a man, and then Q screams and disappears. So my biggest thing about this episode is
she's gone.
my biggest thing about this episode is Geordi's lines in the last scene. Like, I can't comprehend the situation in the writing room when they wrote Geordi's lines in this scene. They are just fucking so weird.
Hey Wes, looking good. It's not really the line. I think it's the delivery. Like he creepily delivered it. He's like, "Hey Wes, looking good." Like it's like there's a different delivery.
No, there's no way to deliver that where it's not creepy.
Hey Wes, don't get in my band.
Hey Wes, you just aged 10 years. It's like, if you were, hanging out with a 12-year-old and all of a sudden she was 22, you would say, "Hey, looking good." That's creepy regardless.
Yeah, she's still 12.
I agree, but
She's
this
still
was
12.
delivered in the most creepy way possible. You have to see that.
But I mean, when you're presented that line, how else do you deliver it other than creepily?
And the Worf, is this your idea of sex? You don't yell for his name to get all the attention on you and then say, "Is this your idea of sex?" In a disgusted way, you'd be like, you just poke Data and be like, "Hey, is this their idea of sex?" Like that would have been reasonable.
Sex? Yeah. Like, are they having sex on the bridge?
It's perfectly acceptable for Jordy to be ignorant to every sexual being in the universe.
Where is Troy in this episode?
They explained at the very beginning that they had just dropped her off for a shuttle mission back home. How come Yar didn't get it? How come Riker didn't give Yar anything? He didn't even try.
She's in the penalty box.
Yeah. Well, he didn't give Picard anything either.
Yeah.
And okay, so going backwards, why didn't he go back in time? Because time is obviously of no remorse to them. Why didn't he go back in time and save the little girl on the fucking planet?
He's still not smart enough to figure out that part of queuing.
It can't be that hard. Because, okay, so we kind of skipped over the ending of that episode a little bit. I'm not sure if you're getting there or not, Tracy, but the fact, when Picard basically says, we kind of understand the human condition, but maybe Q can't. And he basically says that, mastering time and that kind of stuff is easy compared to understanding the human condition. I really thought that was... you can it all you want, but I thought...
It's corny as hell.
It is corny, but I mean, the principle of it is... Like, the essence of it made me happy. That was probably my favorite line of the whole show.
See, I was like, ugh.
Yeah, Vaughn and I were both cringing.
Okay, so...
And maybe that's because of all the TOS endings that you just have to fucking turn off.
I agree. At this point, though, I have to clear up a few things, or I have to... Just hold on, I have to put out a few things here. Okay, so these people didn't like Riker's gift, so Q was defeated, and then Picard's like, Q, you're defeated. And then I'll bet your other Q don't like that. And Q is being tortured by the other Q and gets disappeared, right? And then Riker just goes back to his business. Like, Riker had no choice in this matter. He's not like, I would like these powers and I'm coming with you. He's like, well, easy come, easy go. Goes back to his station, Like, he never actually made the conscious decision to give up those powers.
No. And everyone just acts like he wasn't a giant dick 10 seconds ago.
There's no fucking, break-in period or apology or fucking anything. He's just like, now I'm Riker again. And I still don't have a fucking beard, so fuck you guys.
He just sneaks back into the crew, is what I see it.
He says to Picard, how did you know? And that's about all he...
Yeah, that's all he has to say.
How'd you know that known people wouldn't want everything that they ever wanted? Supposedly.
How'd you know my intentions were horse shit?
All he had to do was stroke Picard's ego for 1 second and he's back in there. No.
He does actually say, I feel like such an idiot, and Picard just goes, yeah, and you should. That's a good quote, actually.
I rip my bald head.
Next time, don't be a giant cunt.
Yeah.
Jean-Luc. Picard, I'd like a meeting with your staff. Okay.
I think he actually calls him Jean-Luc then, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He does. Which is...
Yeah, probably.
It took it until he actually said it, I didn't really pick up on it. Right? Mm-hmm. Where Jean-Luc says, you've been calling me by my first name. I didn't actually pick up on it until that point, that as it being, out of the normal.
I think he died the first time he says it, they kind of show Picard and he's like a little bit like, what the fuck? See, you see a little bit of reaction to it.
He's like, excuse me, prick face? Okay.
Alright, so the title of the episode, Hide and Q. What is that?
Yeah, what? Is that supposed to, if that's supposed to be a play on words or something, it doesn't fucking work. How do you get, is it supposed to be hide and seek, but with Q in there? What does that mean? What is that?
I don't know. Let's Google it.
I really like this episode. The only thing I thought could have been a lot more interesting is the on-planet stuff. There could have been a lot more in the game that they were playing. And the suspense of having Tasha about to be killed doesn't really fruit.
We kind of missed a point, though, because Q goes up and he actually takes pity on her. He's like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, okay, you're out of the penalty box.
Yeah, penalty over. That's all.
But there's not, any actual concern that she might die, because no one else is almost breaking... You know what I mean? They could have done a lot of that just was missed.
And Picard actually says, look, Q, I defeated you again, just like I defeated you before. And I don't feel that Picard defeated Q. He may have reasoned with him. Pulled up his own socks, but he didn't defeat Q.
That's a defeat for Picard, though. If he reasons someone into submission.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to say it.
That's why he's king.
No, you know what I mean? I just have a problem with him saying it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So, I have a real issue calling any Q episode as not being good. So by default, even going into this, just reading the name of this episode, I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good episode. For whatever reason, because they get up to all kinds of crazy shit. So, yeah, that's my opinion on the Q episodes. Is you can't have a bad Q episode.
Well, what I have to say is Q is good.
they're
Because
a little
Q is so
inconsistent
good
with the limits and Q.
At this point,
ability.
Q isn't.
That's the whole point.
Q is more of a dick at this point than he softens a bit later on for sure.
Yeah, once you get into Voyager with Q, they're fucking amazing.
He quickly becomes he's not so much an antagonist later on,
but
more I think it's
more of a troublemaker.
This is kind of the turning point because he gets fucked over and the Q continue to get angry at him because he made this deal and
he becomes a prankster.
They don't prison him in some kind of ice structure and set him afloat in space, so can't be too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, that the whole Yar thing in the penalty box seemed like just an excuse to get someone back on the bridge so that they could...
Yeah, so
then
there was never...
Then that awful scene had to happen, so...
There was never, any indication that she was actually in a penalty box. She just kind of went back to the bridge and then cried a bunch, and that was fine.
It seemed like, this episode...
It was a bit weird.
Where's the
wasn't a
fucking
lot
skating
that
rink and
happened
the
to
bells?
What's that,
This-
Chris?
They should have had a physical skating rink and bells, penalty box.
Yeah.
She should have had to
That'd
just
be cool.
sit there all by herself.
She should have been subjected to a endless hockey fight where she's being haymakered in the face for like.
She should have been zapped to a hockey rink where she was zapped a bunch of clothes on her and a hockey stick where she had to sit in the penalty box.
Yeah.
Let's go, rape gangs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Please.
Come on.
Please,
now.
the franchise moved. It's now the Tampa Bay rape gangs.
Yeah, Q could have unraped Tasha as her gift.
That's
Yeah.
what Tracy said.
That's what.
What's Yara's gift?
No rape.
She
gangs
just suddenly
ever.
gets this big smile on her face. I'm happy.
And she doesn't constantly jump to conclusions. She doesn't constantly use the jump to conclusions, Matt. That's her that's her Q fucking ending.
Yeah.
This definitely felt like original series episode in that it's one plot and not a lot happens.
Yeah.
But which is okay because it's more of a study of the idea of giving power to a human.
Yeah.
Like the kind of power Q has to a human, but it's still kind of they could have tightened this one up quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Still, it's still getting there.
So one thing I noticed, and I'm not sure if anybody else noticed it, not watching HD, but they wore a lot of tight pants in this one.
Uh-oh.
They always do.
A lot of moose knuckles?
The men, the moose knuckles. We gotta talk about the moose knuckles. We're in now, and we gotta talk about the moose knuckles.
Black pants were the wisest decision for the male uniform.
Yeah, Derek, you need to watch the episode called Justice.
I don't think I do. Based on that comment,
Yes,
I don't
you do.
think I do.
Go to the Trek TV website and look at the art for Justice. That is a male camel toe, or as you have just taught us, a moose knuckle. Oh, that makes me sick just saying it.
They are all over the place.
Yeah,
all the
and
time.
even running, like there's a lot of running moose knuckles in that episode.
Oh, good God!
It's a thing of beauty.
There's not enough support on any of those people.
There is no support.
Ferengi were in episode 9 already. I had no idea.
Yeah, they've been in 2 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
They're in episode 2 or 3.
Yeah,
it's been so long.
Yeah.
Oh my good God!
Yeah.
What in the fuck is that? Who gave up on the costume design on that episode?
Just straps on fucking, like I said, they'd have just thongs on if the censors would have allowed it at the time.
They're nipple suspenders to a camel toe creation device.
What it was actually was they had a single rubber glove, and that's all they could use for costume design that week. Because that's what that is.
We gotta make this thing last.
That's a single rubber. That's a single rubber glove, is what that is.
So for listeners who can't follow this because it makes no sense, we're talking about the costumes from the episode called Justified.
Justice,
sorry.
Justified.
Who's the character?
He's one of the simple, beautiful people from a planet that tries to kill Wesley for busting a greenhouse.
They're all dressed like that. All.
Yeah.
Oh,
you have to watch the episode, Derek.
There's plenty of them getting oiled and greased down, and running. They run everywhere. They specifically mention how they run everywhere.
There's a lot of lady bum in that episode too.
Yeah, see episode 99.
It's got a little something for everyone, really.
Yeah, let's get through these emails. We've got just a couple here today, and the first one is from Kaylin. Congratulations on 100 episodes. I'm so proud of you guys. Who knew all you had to do was drink beer and make vagina jokes? Anywho, just wanted to weigh in on the last episode. Personally, I thought Crush's reaction to Wesley's situation was accurate. I think more people would behave like that than like some insane action hero who goes on a murderous revenge rampage.
Fair enough, but we're not talking about normal people. We wouldn't want to watch normal people on TV.
Now this is when...
Revenge!
Yeah, this is referring to the episode that with the moose knuckles.
Yeah.
They
where
try to kill
they're
Wesley.
going to kill Wesley, and Crusher just flusters around like a lunatic.
Are they trying to kill Wesley for not having Moose Knuckle?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
They just make him 10
Moose
years
Knuckle
old.
is insufficient.
I can't really remember that episode, but that sounds right.
So, good on you for agreeing with that, Kaylin.
Your moose knuckle is like a golf ball to me. Ouch.
That's what that whole episode's about.
Yeah.
Trying to deal with a moose knuckle problem.
It is a tough situation. It has to be dealt with.
There's not nearly enough moose knuckle.
No, not really.
There's entirely too much. Those are the two options.
Yeah.
Okay.
We deal in extremes here at Trek TV.
Yeah.
Alright, so to continue on...
When it comes to genitalia cleavage, anyway.
So to continue on, in later episodes, when Wesley faces some danger or strange circumstance, I often am annoyed by Dr. Crusher's lack of reactions. After a while, she seems to stop caring, and it's weird. Also, the exploration... Oh, go ahead.
When your idiot son is constantly running into bayonets as soon as any danger rears its head, you eventually just kind of get used to it.
Space momming is different.
Yeah.
He's always gets saved by someone else, so she doesn't really have to put an effort in anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, also, the exploration of laws and justice was fascinating. There is currently a situation in Regina that is relevant. Some lawyers and radio show hosts on CBC were discussing how laws are made to cover generic situations and cannot cover every outlying circumstance. This is why laws and penalties can't be too strict or extreme, like in the episode. Congrats again, guys. I'm looking forward to 100 more. Alright, thanks, Kaylin.
Deal. We'll do
exactly 100 more.
Yeah, we'll do 100 more. No more.
That's it.
100 extra and no more.
That's fair enough.
That's 3 more seasons.
Jared, do you have the one from Mark called Old Man's War Part 3?
Yes, I do. Somewhere here.
Okay.
Old Man's War Part 3. This one's very short. Hi, Vaughn. I was listening to an audiobook of a John Scalzi novel called The Last Outpost when I heard one character describe, in disparaging terms, a conclave of various sentient interstellar aliens, much like Star Trek's Federation, as a pyramid scheme. Your conjecture has now passed the rigors of peer review. Congratulations.
I'll have to publish my paper.
Yeah.
Crazy. No, you're too late now. They beat you to it.
Alright, Tracy, do you want to read this last one from Mark?
Mark writes, me and my Rubicon 3 warp are on the California coast now. Still no audio capacity, so it's another typed letter for you, but not me to read. The beaches near Bodega are not at all gnarly. No Hollywood surfing scene here. Still, I tried, despite the treacherous undertow, the predation of man-eating humpback whales and trolling tuna boat netting. These perils I missed, only to have the grandeur of my proud camel toe shriveled bitterly, withered by the profound cold to acorn proportions. I'm tempted to curse the sea, exact my pound of flesh from Poseidon, but as we learned from the most recent Ferengi episode, there is no profit in revenge. Podcast 100 was sublime. Thanks for demonstrating that you will not go vanilla despite mainstream celebrity-approved success. Indeed, marking this point clearly with a 20-minute digression into the art of porn-motivated dumpster archaeology. And that is better. What is better than a Canadian singing Space Odyssey in space, as Commander Hadfield did last May? A Canadian singing Space Odyssey in Canada with the libretto reproposed to extol Trek TV. I hope Jared does more of this. Lots more. I also hope Derek's baby returns periodically, perhaps taking over the show after you retire. He seems well suited, laughing his ass off while Pop recounted the wanton destruction of beer. Mark. Yeah, maybe we will become a generational podcast. It'll be Sulu, our dog, with whatever, Derek's cat, and the other Derek's baby, and Jared's kidney once he shits that out. I don't know.
So
any day now.
I
Chris
have one
dog or something.
I have one thing to say to that email. Figure out your audio, sir, because we need to hear you.
Yeah, no, we miss Mark's voice. His audio emails are always good.
Yeah, they're always good.
Derek, did you see, or did you listen to Jared's rendition of, his rendition on the last episode? You should check it out.
I have not. On the last episode,
you haven't?
no.
You should play it.
I've seen him live since, though. Does that count?
It does no good for me to play it now because the stereo is so important.
Oh, you have to listen to that, Derek.
Yeah, it's really good. I put the song at the beginning of the episode.
Is it on the website?
No, not yet.
Oh, you should put that
I plan
on
to
there.
put it up there as fan art. So yeah, nice job, Jared. What are you working on now?
Thank you. I got some projects in the works.
Yeah, we expect some more stuff. That's good.
We expect some more art.
My commission rate just went up.
All right, so
now that I'm getting all these positive reviews.
Yeah. So
I'm in
these
demand.
Emails, they came to an address, trektv@gmail.com.
We expect many more.
Yeah, well, we're beginning to think like only 3 people like the show, and 2 of them are the same person. So
Yeah.
We have another one.
We do?
have one from Chris.
Oh,
Chris
okay,
Campbell.
I missed that.
We need more
Great.
Tasha
Never
Yar
mind.
or
Maybe we
Robert
should have to
Patrick.
take his first name on. That's
Okay.
He always goes by Mr. Locke.
Yes. Take it away.
All right. Hello, Trek TV. While attempting to repair the dry rot which threatened the structural integrity of a graphic designer's home, I stole the opportunity during the client's brief absence to appropriate her Photoshop-capable laptop for the purposes of creating this answer to a nagging question through the medium of fan art.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly. And if anyone else wants to commandeer other people's property in order to create shit for Trek TV, we can only demand and encourage it.
Okay,
so
this is awesome.
Yeah, that's funny.
The
what would
fan art...
TNG have...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, there's more, sorry.
Yeah.
What would TNG have been like if they'd cast an actual Frenchman instead of Patrick Stewart to play the lead? I imagine this alternative pilot episode. Dr. Beverly Crusher is involved in a space mishap when a bucket of primer, spilled from above, marks her from scalp to tailbone with a bright white skunk-like stripe. This drives Captain Jean-Luc Lepew mad with lust. Slapstick ensues, Mr. Locke.
That sounds
And we
hilarious.
We have a picture illustrating Captain Jean-Luc Lepew, and it's terrifying.
This is really awesome. And you can see that picture shortly, TrekTV at TrekTVpodcast.com.
Yeah.
I love how Crusher is just staring longingly at his nose.
Yeah, I'm gonna forward this to Derek.
Captain, what a big snout you have.
That's a worry. So, yeah,
thanks, Chris.
we've not received enough emails again. One other thing I want to mention is we might be heading toward more of a episode every other week sort of situation, since I'm so busy lately that I can't keep up with every week. But I won't be in the next few episodes anyway, because I'm going to be in Queensland. So.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll get a turnout from some of you bastards.
Yeah.
Just hire a foreign rape gang to do it for you.
Outsource
hear
it
they
to
work-
India.
They work on pennies on the dollar. That's what I hear.
We should
Foreign
try
rape gangs.
outsourcing an episode
Pennies
to India.
bounced off vaginas.
They do it for the love of the art.
I really would like to hear an outsourced TTV. That'd be great.
It's probably not that expensive. We'll give it a try.
No, and it's probably not that good either.
Hey, you asshole. Hey, you assholes. Talk about watch our show suddenly skyrocket in popularity.
That's because we had an extra 4 billion users because we outsourced it to India and everybody there watched it.
Where's everybody's racist voice? Thank you for outsourcing Trek TV.
Oh,
The
dear
racist.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Yes.
Jesus. Now we have to outsource our audience too.
See, there's a real trick in making money. You gotta outsource the audience.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That shoots you to the top of the rankings. That gives you the iPhone or the iTunes rankings, which gets you actual audience.
You can give out a free Trek
That's how the
TV
economy
episode with
works.
every cigarette in Indonesia.
I think that's why iTunes separates by country, though, right?
Probably.
Free Trek TV download with every Coke.
You guys are big in India who have no
You should also follow us on Twitter for the love of criminy at twitter.com/TrekTV.
Hi, I'm Manu Ntereme. You're listening to Trek TV, you Star Trek bitches.
And from Manu.
Oh yeah, we have to redo his entire voice and do a whole episode of just him saying ridiculous things now.
I'm sure. And don't tell us you can't do it, because we know you can.
That's what we should be doing the outsourcing for. That sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying, Tracy?
I can't remember.
Twitter.com/TrekTV, TrekTVpodcast.com, and
TrekTV@gmail.com.
That's right. We need all that stuff. Reviews. I think you were probably saying something about reviews.
Oh, maybe.
Right now we need 5-star ratings and glowing reviews on iTunes or other social media bullshit.
Tell your friends that you love us and that we are the best podcast.
Follow us on manuintereme.rapegang.com.
That's all one word, by the way.
Oh my god.
Follow us on...
There's no dots either.
Racist motherfuckers at gmail.com.
Follow us on Poor Indian Racist Voice. Alright, guys.
Oh god.
Thank you very much for this.
We've just alienated one of the largest populations on the planet.
And thank you, largest population, for listening to another episode of Trek TV. Yes.
Thanks to all of our talented guest stars this week as well for being racist and
belligerent.
Disgusting.
And thanks for never being invited back.
And I hope you enjoyed yourselves because it'll be the last time.
And sorry to the listener.